without a moment's hesitation, and then think nothing of the wastefulness after the fact. Mindlessly, we surf the web, habitually indulge in excessive sleeping, and binge on food, drugs, alcohol, erotica, partying. Pick your poison. We fail to set goals or direction in life, and then are bitter when our portion of it is all used up. We then look for someone to blame: parents, society, other races, the system, genetic luck of the draw. Again, pick your poison. We look to blame because we didn't end up being more than what we actually ended up being. And we know that even if we fell short of what we could have been, we should definitely be more than we currently are now. But the reality is that unlike Walt's Blofelding bond, we are the authors of our own pain. There are dimensions, entities, and powers that we do not have the necessary abilities, tools, or faculty to comprehend. Cloaked in and anchored by our mortal shells, we are limited in our abilities to comprehend cosmic modalities. Thus, existence for us requires and is defined by matter, time, and space. But we know not what else. Brian Tracy in 1989, via his How to Master Your Time audio cassette program, was the thought agent that catalyzed me to analyze first time management and then time itself. Because time is a foundational aspect of our existence, we casually overlook it. We don't think about it. And like other foundational elements that we take for granted, we only become terrified when we are threatened with these things being taken away. Here, you can think of time similarly to how we think of air. We rarely think about air, or breathing for that matter, at least most of the time. But it'll take the average person less than 60 seconds to go into a ferocious panic if their ability to breathe is taken away. Coincidentally, if you happen to run out of air, you've also ran out of time. Speaking of air and time, as a side note, I remember training jiu-jitsu with Joe Riley, and he quoted something to me about success that had been told to him. He said, "If I hold you underwater until 2 seconds before you hit your absolute limit for holding your breath, when you want to be successful in life with whatever you're doing, just as much as you want to take that next breath, you'll be terrifying and unstoppable." Keep in mind, Joe was a professional boxer out of Kronk Gym in Detroit, back when Emmanuel Stewart was there. He was also a recon Marine, a firefighter, a senior conflict resolutions specialist for a motorcycle club, and also one of the most humble people I'd ever met. But with that background, especially the force recon part, I have no doubt that he'd probably been on the receiving end of that being held underwater until 2 seconds part. Anyhow, we'll talk about Joe some more at a later time. For now, back to business. Time is your most precious resource. It's perishable, limited, irretrievable, and irreplaceable, and above all else, unstoppable. Time is perishable. It doesn't last. It's fleeting and quickly gone. Its shelf life is almost wholly dependent on the perception of whoever is the subject and whatever they've got going on. Eventually, though, no matter who you are or what your perception, you realize that time goes away and doesn't come back. People close to dying are intimately aware of this fact. Time is limited. Similar to being perishable, it is limited. The human condition means that if I'm lucky, I'll be dead in 30 years. If I'm not so lucky, I'll be dead in 5 years. And if I'm really snake-eyed out, just in a bad way, I won't even make it till next week. Very few of us will get more than 100 years alive on this earth. As our condition and science currently stand, we don't have that capability. Every creature and everything is temporary. We are all bits and pieces of matter and energy. that were themselves bits and pieces of other matter and other energy that were repeatedly converted from matter to energy and back again in new configurations innumerable times. But each isolated definitive configuration of matter or energy only exists for a specified time before it ceases to exist at all. Time is irretrievable. Once it has passed, you can't get it back. I know theories about time travel abound, but even if a time traveler went back in time to alter the past, I posit that what they will be altering is a bifurcated branch that is independent of the original reality. There are many superhero movies and TV shows out now that discuss these types of alternate realities, but me and my fellow geeks have been swimming in these waters for decades. Between comic books and Einstein and Heavy Metal Magazine, M-Theory, Stephen Hawking, and sci-fi movies, many of you, like me, have wrestled with and contemplated myriad ideas on the subject ad nauseum. And what my contemplation says is that once distinct time is gone, it's gone forever. Time is irreplaceable. Not much more to say here. Time is a singularity, and nothing in our known, theorized, or imagined existence can replace its facility. This fact alone demands that those who wish to lead an excellent life study and learn the ways to navigate the oceans of time. Time is unstoppable. Perpetually moving forward, it is the ultimate juggernaut. I have this artifact that I created I call the freezing cube. Imagine a cube with a single straight thread on one side and myriad other threads that converge to a single point on the opposite side. Now, this cube is steadily moving from the single thread side to the myriad thread side. And as it passes along, the myriad threads are burned away and or fused together, leaving only a single thread. In this example, the myriad threads are meant to represent all of the possibilities of all of the actions a person can take, with their choices being the point of convergence. The cube is time itself, steadily and unwaveringly moving along, burning away everything that could have been and combining what's left into what is. And the single thread is the resultant frozen timeline of the actions taken and decisions made at what was the present at the nexus of time's passing. A more simple way to think about it is like the Super Mario Brothers video game. You couldn't resist that wall. It was always moving and it would push you along if you tried to stop. And irregardless of your desires, what happened as it passed by a point became final. I know I just used irregardless in the last sentence, and folks will tell me that that's not a word, but maybe it's not a word and maybe it's two words. Ir meaning soon and regardless. So soon regardless of whatever you're talking about. To wrap up, this is my understanding of the way of time. I'll cover some time management strategies in another session. But the bottom line here is to not be lazy and be deliberate about how you live your life and conduct your day. Nobody has to tell you that sleeping all day and sitting around all night zoned out, pleasuring yourself while watching cat videos is wasteful, at least for folks seeking to improve some aspect of their lives. To change this, researching and consuming anything on the subject of time management by Brian Tracy or Napoleon Hill is probably a good place to start. Of course, all of these things I've said, they could change in the future. Only time will tell. Thanks for listening.